Now, will you tell the court what everybody at home thinks of Longfellow Deeds?
They think he's pixelated.
Oh, yes, pixelated.
He's what?
Now, that's rather a strange word to us, Miss Jane. Can you tell the court exactly what it means?
Perhaps I can explain, Your Honor. The word pixelated is an early American expression derived from the word pixies, meaning elves. They would say the pixies had got him, as we nowadays would say a man is balmy.
Well, now tell me, why does everyone think he's pixelated? Does he do peculiar things?
He walks in the rain without his hat and talks to himself. Sometimes he whistles and sings.
Hoagies and grinders, hoagies and grinders, hoagies and grinders, navy beans, navy beans, navy beans. Hoagies and grinders, hoagies and grinders, navy beans, meatloaf sandwich, sloppy dough, sloppy dough, sloppy dough.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of What the Hell Happened to Them? I'm Patrick Scale, and of course we have with me Joe. On the audio boards, as always, great maven, Lev Van Rensselaer, and we have a special guest today. Could you introduce yourself?
Casey.
Casey, great. Casey is joining us today to talk about, what movie are we talking about, Joe?
Mr. Deeds.
Remix. Hey everybody, and welcome back to What the Hell Happened to Them? Adam Sandler remix coming at you here. You liked it once before, but we thought we could do it better. I am your host, Patrick Skeyhill, and joining me on the line is the opposite of Bonjour, Joe Vekeman.
How do you do? And
on the audio boards, helping us remix this cast is Lev Van Rensselaer, reminding me to remind you that you can email the cast at whathappenedtothemcast@gmail.com. And our sponsor this week is Cocoa Rebels, hot chocolate with a zesty spice blend flavorful enough to bring down an empire. All right, Joe, what movie are we remixing this week?
We remixed 2002's Mr. Deeds.
So we don't have our former guest, Casey, to give us the summary this time. So, Joe, you're finally going to have to give us the Mr. Deeds summary. Much like in Final Destination. It has come back round for you.
I've got it, though. A sweet-natured, small-town guy inherits a controlling stake in a media conglomerate and begins to do business his way.
Yeah. Kind of.
Yeah.
Does he do much of any business? I guess the football quarterback?
He really handles that quarterback.
And that might be it?
Well, he also, hands over the company that's not his to the person that it should be.
Oh, that's taking care of business? Taking care of business is having someone else take care of the business?
Yeah, because he's not standing in the way. He's like, you know what? Why am I here? I'm going to deliver some pizza again.
So for this viewing and deciding to come back, I've gone back to my old tricks, and I actually watched Mr. D Goes to Town, the original film that it was based on. And let me tell you, that movie is longer than this movie.
Much longer, right?
Yeah, it's like another half hour, and that half hour is all a courtroom drama.
Huh. They skipped that in this, huh?
Yeah, they did, which was kind of nice of them. In this movie, basically, he finds out that the reporter isn't who she says she is, and that's really the only person that's kind of mean to him in the whole movie, so he just decides to go back to New Hampshire. In the original film, it's Vermont. Sandler probably just shouting out his home state, wanting to do an accent, perhaps. I don't know.
He really just wants to say Bias. Bias.
Wicked.
Oh, yeah, he loves to say everything's wicked cool, wicked awesome.
Yeah.
Wicked awesome.
And he's talking about the Pats. Anyway,
yeah, he's like, you own the Jets. Oh, man, that sucks. I'll have to fucking kill myself.
Here the lady sort of says, yeah, I'm actually a reporter. And he's like, oh, no, that's kind of sad. And everybody has been taking advantage of him, including an opera house, which I thought was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, wait, you guys don't make any money? And they're like, no, we're a foundation for the arts. So, no, it's up. He's like, well, that's bad business. I'm not helping you guys out. And I go, wow, 1930s. You're in the middle of depression right now, and you're too good to help out opera. So after the reporter breaks his heart, he does kind of realize, I got all this money, and I'm not helping anybody with it. So he starts to, give his money away to a bunch of farmers. in what sounds like a sharecropping kind of scheme, but I won't get into that.
Interesting.
And all of the business owners that are taking care of his money are like, well, this guy's clearly crazy. Let's put him on trial so we can take away his money and give it to the guy's... apparently there's another nephew, and for some reason the old rich guy didn't want to give it to him. So they gave it to Longfellow Deeds instead.
Huh.
But then, of course, he convinces everybody that he is, in fact, sane. He seems to also take credit for the word doodling. Somehow doodling didn't exist before 1936. He's like, I see that you're doodling over there. And they're all like, what does that mean? He goes, that's just what we say up in Mandrake Falls when you're drawing kind of goofy pictures randomly on your thing. You're doodling. And here we are in the vernacular now.
Well, back then they were still just learning how to make butter, so they were like, we don't have fucking time to doodle. This is not the time. What are you doing over there? I don't know what it's called yet.
You had hinted you liked this movie more.
Well, you're not making me like it more now, but I was giggling at some parts now. I don't know.
Well, Joe, I think I was a little higher on this one too this time. Let me be fair. I don't want to be taken out of context here. A little bit. An iota, especially in that episode that we originally recorded. I was very, very, very harsh on the movie, I think.
Which is fine.
I think I was unfairly harsh to it, though. I think I was just wanted to be angry at it, and I wasn't fully justified in it. And I feel bad for our previous guest. I think she got kind of railroaded into not liking it by our or my strong verbiage.
Yeah.
And she didn't feel like she could just say, well, I like it, and here's why. We sort of overpowered her in her own home quickly. So I apologize to you, Casey. I apologize to previous listeners. I'm older now. I'm a little more demurred. I still have strong emotions against things.
Yeah.
But Mr. Deeds, it's okay. It's not 8 Crazy Nights.
Yeah. Was there anything that actually, got you to laugh, though?
Laugh out loud is a bit strong, but here are some gags I wrote down.
Out loud is a bit strong for a fucking comedy.
I don't want to be, again, misinterpreted. There were some moments I found amusing.
Yes.
The one I did was sort of the same one. We all like The Butler.
Yes.
Has John Turturro won an Oscar yet? Not for this, obviously, but no?
He should have won for this, though.
So the Sneaky Sneaky was always good.
Very good.
Though I think hurt by terrible editing. I think that gag could have been even better. I think the editing in this movie is atrocious. And there's usually 3 reasons for why the editing's atrocious. 1, the easiest one, your editor's bad.
Coming for Jeff Gorison, who has edited 24 films, which I've seen 45% of, because most of them are Adam Sandler movies.
2, bad directing. Sometimes the director just hasn't brought a scene to life, and the editor can only work with so much. And they have to cut around a lot of awkwardness, and that sometimes makes other awkward things happen. I don't know.
We're very torn on this director.
Yeah.
Because he's done, 3, 4, 5 Sandlers. Technically 6 if you count the comedy special he did.
I don't.
Okay, so 5. But he's done Sandy Wexler, Mr. Deeds, Little Nicky, The Do-Over, and I think his crowning achievement, QB Halloween.
So he took like a 20-year gap in there for some reason.
Well, he's doing Drill Bit Taylor and Walk of Shame and Movie 43.
I don't know what those are.
You haven't heard of any of these?
Oh, I know what Without a Paddle is. That movie sucks.
Have you seen Drill Bit Taylor, though?
No.
It's
the other
like
2 I haven't heard of.
Apatow movie that was aimed for, more of a family audience with Owen Wilson. Well, you have plenty of time to watch it. It's on Paramount+.
If it ain't on Tubi, I ain't watching.
Okay, well, you have Paramount.
Yeah. I'm not going to watch that.
Yeah, Stephen Brill. Yeah, hit or miss.
It just seems like bad when he was young, pretty okay when he's old. He kind of figured his shit out, He had some experience under him. Anyway, the 3rd reason why editing can be really bad is your actors are bad, and you have to cut around them.
Yeah, well, the thing we need to talk about right away is that, and I didn't ever clock this because I was just I didn't focus on this stuff back then, but Sandler and Ryder have 0 chemistry in every single scene. There's nothing to it. It's dead air. And I'm like, why Did they test at all?
Yeah, probably not. I also...
Which he doesn't have that problem usually.
Well, Ryder is in a lot of the scenes that I just kind of noticed, like, why is this editing so bad? Like, sometimes between her and Sandler, sometimes between her and the guy that's in all his movies.
Alan Covert.
Alan Covert. Is that his real hair?
Yeah, baby, there, mama, everywhere, daddy, daddy, hey.
That can't be right.
I don't. It looks like a big blonde curly wig. I don't know.
And he's like, I wanted to wear my Harpo Marx wig today.
It's like it's clearly dyed if it is his real hair. He gained a lot of weight for the role. I think he gained like 40 pounds.
You said that in the previous episode, and I just thinking as I was listening to it, for this role?
I know that because of the commentary.
Why did this role need... it was just like Sandler making him feel better for having eaten a lot of potato chips.
Yeah, we really need you to put on like 40 pounds for this.
Yeah, this needs to be a really... you need to be a really schlubby guy so she won't like you. And he could just be like, what about the hair?
My friend over here, he's perfect for the role.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, editing, not great. So I think that hurt a lot of the Butler's sneaky gags. But other gags that I enjoyed more this time... Well, I think I liked this one last time, too, when the father of the quarterback is going to, like, beat his...
Oh, yeah, that's
child
great.
abuse his son. And the guy's like, no, daddy, no! And it's just like this...
It's like the insert of the guy, like, just full-on, like, face, like, ah!
Yeah, it's this sort of... That's the over-the-top, goofy, Billy Madison type humor I liked. But, like, I really hated the cat moment the first time around. I liked it more this time.
That is the most absurd shit. Like, when the cat is on fire, and she's like, no, not my baby!
Yeah, and it goes into the bucket of water, and then the cat comes up fine, and...
Yeah.
All the noises they made, I found that kind of amusing after the third time. I'm
every
like,
time the
cat
fucking cats bounce off the trip and go boom.
Yeah, that was good. Robert, no.
Which one?
What's his name? What's the actor?
Rob Schneider.
Rob Schneider, reprising his delivery guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is part of the Sandlerverse, I tell you.
His best role, though, we discussed that on our remix for the Big Daddy. That's Schneider's best role is the delivery guy. It has his most nuance.
Yeah, the most nuance.
It does! He can't read! There's something to it.
Yeah, so that worked for me. The Al Sharpton thing I enjoyed as well.
Oh, yeah, no, that was fun. That's one of the parts where I laughed at. It was like, good rhyme.
Yeah, exactly. Jumping John McEnroe over the taxi.
Oh, yeah, that got me too. When it's like a Spider-Man jump over the taxi.
Yeah, exactly. And the Monopoly guy thing got you last time. It got me this time.
Oh. So stupid.
Yeah, I know. But that's kind of what made it work, is that it is acknowledging, I don't know, it's kind of like the vomiting in Hubie Halloween. Like, it's sort of leaning into the stupidity of it.
I remember your take on the vomiting in Hubie Halloween. I'll never forget. You had such a good line for it. So good.
A popular clip in the 130th episode Spectacular.
The filmmakers didn't get a payment for Wendy's and Cocoa Pebbles. For the ad sponsorship.
Wow, unfortunate. They talk about Frosties a lot.
Yeah, they do. Oh, here we go. This is for the what do we call our people? The heads? What kind of heads?
What people?
Our fans.
Oh, our fans?
Yeah, what do we call our fans?
Well, I think they're called stands now. Did I make that up? I feel like that's what I've been hearing.
They'll just be our stands.
Okay. Our Stanley Kubricks.
Yes. Conchata Ferrell also works at a pizza parlor and Mystic Pizza.
I know. I was just gonna say that she's made a whole career out of being a pizza place employee, a small town New England pizza place employee.
Oh.
Wait. Do we ever see the name
of the pizza place?
Is it called Mystic Pizza?
No, I think it's just called Deeds Pizza.
All right.
Mr. Deeds Pizza.
He does not have a pizza shop in the original film, but he does write greeting cards, though they're not called greeting cards in the 30s. They're called postcards, and they don't open. You actually do mail them to people.
Did Hallmark even exist in the 30s?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
That's a Lev question.
I'll look that up right now.
You look it up? Well, you win this round, Lev.
Dun, dun, dun. It existed. No fucking way. What? No, that's
weighing.
the channel. Yeah, exactly. I was like, I want the Hallmark greeting card.
You don't want the Hallmark Channel? It's the most valuable asset of the Hallmark empire.
Well, that only got started 30 years ago. Can you believe it? It started in 1992.
That actually does sound right to me.
So, the greeting cards started... Wow, they did exist. They've been existing for 113 years. They started on January 10th, 1910.
Well, I forget who he says bought it from them, but he actually is successful at writing these greeting cards.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much where he makes the bulk of his money. And then, yes, as we talked about in the original episode, he also plays tuba for the town band. And everybody finds that ridiculous for some reason.
They find that?
That's one of the things they bring up at the trial. But also they bring it up, so remember in Mr. Deeds, Adam Sandler is invited to this table by the fancy people at the dinner.
Yep.
Where he beats up the opera guy and stuff.
Yep. Oh, that was funny.
In the original Mr. Deeds, he's at a fancy restaurant with the date, right? The reporter lady pretending not to be reporter lady.
Yeah.
And he sees famous writers at a different table, so he asks if he can go over there. And then they all make fun of him because he only writes greeting cards, and he gets his feelings hurt and he leaves. But then, like in Mr. Deeds says, you know what? If I weren't with the lady, I'd ought to knock your blocks off. You know, something old-timey like that.
Wow.
And then she says, oh, I don't mind. And then he just beats everybody up at the table. And then one guy's like, hey, you didn't beat me up. We're pals now. I'll take you on a bender. And the guy's like, I don't know what one of those are. And he goes, well, let me show you. Tabacus, here we go.
Wow, they did. That's pretty faithful then.
Very. I was very surprised. Uh-huh.
You know, the Sandman.
Yeah,
I think he's got his eyes on as a future. I'm gonna make old timey movies.
He does like one other one.
What is it?
What is it? You brought it up in the last one. He makes another Frank Capra film.
He does?
You said in the OG film. Yeah, he makes It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh, yeah. I mean, come on. That's the...
All right. Let's talk about the elephant in the room.
What is the elephant? Where is the elephant?
We have another edition of How Lazy Can We Score This Film?
Oh,
all right. And the composer of this film is Teddy Castellucci.
Oh, his regular collaborator.
Yes, because I'm like, all right, let's see what else he's done. All right, here's his first film, The Wedding Singer.
Yep.
All right, I think you're going to start to notice a trend here. Big Daddy,
yep.
Deuce Bigelow, Male Gigolo, Little Nicky, The Animal, Mr. Deeds, 8 Crazy Nights,
yep.
Anger Management, 50 First Dates, The Longest Yard.
You skipped over White Chicks.
Oh, no, I'm saving those. I wanted to get the Sandler stuff on board.
Okay.
But here's the most damning one, I think. A favorite film of the podcast, Home Alone 4.
Fuck off.
He is the composer of the Home Alone 4, the 2002 television movie, Home Alone 4, starring French Stewart.
Oh, God.
Also, Wild Hogs, something called Baby on Board. And then in 2011... a short film for Disney, not that Disney, a guy named Tim Disney. And then that's it. He's gone. Sandler said, all right, we had enough of this.
I mean, it's time to move past this guy.
It's time.
Maybe did he die?
No, he's still alive. Still alive. He's 58 years old, so he's been unemployed since his mid-40s. It's a good time for a midlife crisis.
Good time 10 years before that.
He's mostly known for working on comedy projects, for being the recurring composer in films starring Sandler before being replaced by Rupert Gregson Williams. That's gotta hurt when you couldn't handle being...
Gregson Williams?
We've actually seen Castellucci. He was in The Wedding Singer and Big Daddy.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. He's in the trial scene, right? In Big Daddy?
Dude, I don't know.
I think he calls himself out.
For being a bad composer?
No, he says his real name in the movie.
Oh, okay. You certainly know that movie better than I do.
I love it.
He's in the band of Wedding Singer. He plays the guitarist.
Okay.
And I'm glad he doesn't make Sandler films anymore. As soon as Sandler pulls out, like he's fucking dangling. It really dries up immediately afterwards.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even give him the Schneider films. Like, man...
Which one? Like the hot chick and the animal?
Yeah, he did the animal, but I don't know if hot chick he didn't get, and whatever else. Poor Teddy Castellucci, but also sort of deserved.
Oh, this guy. Okay. All right, I know what he looks like now. Yeah, he did compose Home Alone 4. A terrible movie. God, I hated watching that movie. That movie is 84 minutes long. I'm going to tell you, feels like 2 full hours.
I will not tolerate Home Alone 4 slander on this podcast.
It's awful. It's so bad.
No, it's a Christmas crowd pleaser, everybody.
I am going to read you my review from last...
It is a very pivotal component of the Home Alone tetralogy.
No. Wait, what's a tetralogy?
It's like a trilogy, but for 4 films.
Well, there's more than 4. That's why I asked.
Do they also have French Stewart?
No. I think there's actually 6 now. 6 Home Alones.
I gotta catch up. Christmas is right around the corner.
You get a little bit of time. I watched this last November 29th. No, they're on Disney+.
No, I'm not doing that. Oh, I have Disney+. All right, fine.
But the thing is, the first 2 Home Alones aren't on Disney Plus right now.
Well, no, those are real movies, obviously, Joe.
They are real movies. They're good movies. Well, the first one is.
Well, listen, if you like the first one, you have to like the second one, because they're the same movie.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. I get the argument.
You can't like one and not the other. That'd be hypocritical.
Let me tell you, Home Alone 4, half-star review. Retroactively fixing my Home Alone 3 score to 1.5 stars. Gee whiz, I didn't know how good we had it with that one. Bottom of the barrel here. Unbearable Kid Actor Hall of Fame. Holy shit, Malcolm McDowell just showed up in the 5th one. What is happening? Oh, I guess I was reviewing that while I was watching the 5th one.
I kind of remember this review actually coming down.
It's a bad movie.
I see no honorable mention for French Stewart there.
Why do you like French Stewart so much?
It's a little mean. How do we... Yeah, see, there you go. There's a movie star I go see.
That's a French Stewart?
They say, hey, French Stewart's in the new Batman film. I go, huh?
You do a Tim Allen?
Yeah.
All right, French Stewart has 42 credits. Okay, well, what is his number 1 credit on Letterboxd right now?
42 feels low. It's got to be the show, right?
No, they don't have television sitcoms on Letterboxd.
On Letterboxd, I thought you were doing IMDb. Okay.
No.
Inspector Gadget 2?
That's pretty fucking high up there. I can't believe you knew that he was in that. I know he's technically the star, so he should be.
Well, because I was like, what happened to the guy from Godzilla? Why is he not in this? He looks completely different. Turns out that French Stewart has a career of replacing actors in unwanted sequels.
Yeah, I need to tell you. The reason why Matthew Broderick did Inspector Gadget is because Godzilla didn't do well, probably. Yeah, so, no, the top French Stewart movie on Letterboxd, which is the one that's been the most watched, because that's how it's ranked in there, is Leaving Las Vegas, a movie I had no idea he was in.
He must be in it for like 2 minutes.
I'm going to tell you how high his billing is. Wow, he is not high. Jesus. Oh, wait, where is he? Where's he hiding? Where is he hiding in there? Where is he? They say he's in it. I don't see him now.
He might be uncredited. Is it one of those things?
No. Did you know that Laurie Metcalf is in that, too?
No.
I didn't know that. I don't like when they say that he's in it and then I can't find him. Oh, how could I scroll over Businessman 2?
Ah, I was right. Alright, well, what's his, real movie underneath that?
Well, he doesn't have a real movie until Home Alone 4. Because he's not in it. He's barely in...
More people have watched Home Alone 4 than Inspector Gadget 2?
Yes.
What?
More people have watched Beverly Hills Chihuahua 2 than Inspector Gadget 2? Yeah.
Well, I will say I'm not surprised he's in Beverly Hills Chihuahua 2. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Oh, did you know that he's in the 1997 Brian Spicer movie starring Tom Arnold and Dean Stockwell and Deborah Messing and David Alan Grier and Bruce Campbell? He is 7th billed in McHale's Navy. Man,
if I've ever heard the cast of a late 90s sitcom or movie, it would be that cast right there.
Oh, wow. You know what he did for us? He did
What?
one of those movies that we used to go see in 2015 where the old ladies are saying, hey, don't forget about us, we're still alive.
But I didn't see it. I think I'd remember. What movie?
No, we didn't see... No, this one is a new one. He did 2021's Queen Bees, starring Ellen Burstyn and James Caan. And Anne Margaret, Jane Curtin, Christopher Lloyd. Wow, what a cast.
How did I miss that one? I know.
They're all on bikes, too. It looks good. We should watch it.
I think we should. See, there's a cast that gets me going. Christopher Lloyd and French Stewart? Who, baby?
Yeah.
Christopher Lloyd almost got me to see that Ben Affleck alcohol movie.
Yeah. Wait, he's in that?
I saw him in the trailer. My guess is that's the only amount of time he's in it.
You know, I didn't put together that there was another Ben Affleck alcohol movie.
What's your Ben Affleck alcohol movie?
It's the basketball one that he did a couple years ago before the pandemic. The Way Back. Guy's done a lot of movies where he's an alcoholic. Sorry. Maybe it's hard for him to do that. I don't know.
All right. It's enough talking about French Stewart.
We've really gone off on a tangent here.
Though really quick, I want to add about French Stewart. I thought it was very odd.
Go off.
A very odd choice for Saturday Night Live in one of their Celebrity Jeopardy sketches.
Oh, yeah, French Stewart.
To have French Stewart be one of the people they're impersonating. They're like, all right, who can do a celebrity impression? We've run through them all. And Jimmy Fallon's like, I can do French Stewart. And everybody's like, 8 years too late, but okay.
Yeah, but I mean, the guy, he can't do many impressions, so when I was like, oh yeah, he probably could do French Stewart. Cause
it wasn't actually that bad.
Sure. I probably laughed through the whole thing, right?
Again, it was...
He's like, I'm doing great, guys. I'm doing so good. All
right. Mr. Deeds.
Mr. Deeds.
So Mr. Deeds really let the money go to his head right away.
He was handing it out. 20,000 to that couple.
Hold on. Mr. Deeds gets $40 billion, which, by the way, in the $40 billion.
$40 billion is a lot of money in 2002.
It is. So in the original movie, he gets $20 million in 1936, which in 2002 would have been worth $258 million. So the writers said, nope, we're going way up. Way up.
It's just an absurd amount of money.
He could buy Twitter with that amount of money.
$40 billion right now. They can just be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna give you $40 billion here.
But like anyone who's rich doesn't actually have $40 billion lying around. It's all like weird frozen assets. I don't understand it. I'm not a money guy. Anyway, so Mr. Deeds, he gets $40 billion, immediately becomes anti-union with this football player negotiating discussions. Immediately. All right? He's telling people to go get a job. He's assaulting people that make less money than him. He's using a lot of money to impress women. And he's donating to charity. I guess the rich people don't do that. I mean, it doesn't... Right.
Well, I'm just going to break my own face right now because I was like, oh, $40 billion. That's too much money even for right now. The richest people in the world by Forbes for 2023. Bernard Arnault and family, $211 billion. I've never even heard of that name before.
That's the best way to be rich. Quietly, don't let anyone know. Don't Elon Musk this up, because you're just going to make everybody angry.
Right below him, a lot less, $180 billion. Not a lot, but a little less. Elon Musk. Why isn't he broke yet?
I don't know, but I'm not calling it X. I'm not doing that. That's dumb.
No, I refuse. I haven't even updated it yet.
It's not happening. You will be Twitter. I got mad. At one point, I looked at my phone, and the little bird had turned into an X, and I go, what the fuck is this?
Oh, my friend.
Is this April Fool's or something?
See it?
Like, what did I...
I haven't touched it yet.
Well, it just, did it on its own.
Oh, then you must have automatic updates. I don't.
I guess. I was just like, oh, did I have, a weird virus, or, this weird porn app has ended up on my phone? How did we get here? And then someone was like, oh, no, he calls it X now. And I go, well, that's stupid, but
it's
okay.
It's terrible. Yeah, no, it's bad. I don't like it.
We spent all these years building up a brand, and we called them tweets because we're the Bird app. And he's like, nah, we're X's now. We're going to send X's. I'm sending a smooch every time I send out a tweet.
It's terrible. No, it's bad.
Oh, another gag I kind of found amusing was when they're doing the echoing stuff when Sandler first gets there, which happens in the original Mr. Deeds, but much later in the film.
Fun.
And the guy just goes, boobs! I kind of like that.
Me too.
That worked on me. The older I get, I guess. Like, when you're young, your joke is immature, and then you get up to the bell curve, and you're like, no, I don't want immature jokes. And then you get older, and the immature jokes work again.
100%. It makes me feel like I'm about to die soon because I'm on the bell curve so much. This changed radically for me.
Hey, is the cat lady... Is that the maid from Billy Madison?
That's a great question. I thought she might have been the maid, but I wasn't sure.
Her voice sounded similar.
I'm going to look that up.
But I know
right
also she dies not long after Billy Madison, so I didn't know.
Oh, no. Oh, no. I got to look her up.
Look her up through Billy Madison.
Oh, that's even a better idea.
What was your bad idea?
I'm just trying to find her.
Your journalist research skills really coming into handy.
Teresa Merritt. Oh, yeah, she died in 98, so that
so
makes
it can't
me
be
sad.
her.
Yeah, she's in The Wiz and All That Jazz.
Yeah, we talked about that.
It still blows my mind every time I read it.
Adam Sandler's like, tell me stories about Michael Jackson.
Her four most watched movies are All That Jazz, Billy Madison, The Serpent and the Rainbow, which is a Wes Craven movie from the 80s.
I haven't heard of that one.
And The Wiz, the Sidney Lumet movie.
Well, that's not a bad Mount Rushmore to have if you're an actress no one's heard of.
Yeah, did you remember her name? I just said it.
No. I'm sorry.
We're terrible people.
Teresa, right? Or is that the cat lady?
No, that's definitely her name because I didn't look up the cat lady yet.
Oh, okay. That's right. You couldn't find her. Okay. Great. Well, I remembered her first name at least.
You did. I'm going to look up her name right now and say it once just so we have it said again because that's rude because she's great. I quote her stuff all the time from Billy Madison.
I know.
You don't want to go to school? Then maybe you can help me shave my armpits.
Yeah. All right. Find the name so I can move on to the next thing.
Her name is Teresa Merritt. Teresa Merritt. We won't forget.
Driving around Boston, as I was wont to do, there is a town called Winchester, and every time I drive past it, I would think to myself, Winchestertonfieldville. But I would never know why. For the life of me, I thought it was just some weird kooky name, and then I heard Winona Ryder say it here, and I went, okay.
Just something that
Just like that one stuck in there as this kooky name for a town, and Winchester does sound so fancy, so I was always trying to knock it down a peg, and I'd be like, Winchestertonfield. I was satirizing it, but I was really stealing it.
She's doing the Chevy Chase Fletch bit, where she just says a word and then just keeps going on top of the word to make it seem like another word.
Yeah, Winona Ryder having a tough go with this film. I don't know if she was fully invested. Not that the script or the role is the best for her, but... Not her best work, I'd say here. Does she have a drug issue or something? Is that maybe going on here? When did she do the shoplifting?
I want to say it's right before. Let me look it up.
So maybe she's going through this mental thing.
I think it's right before this. This is like a comeback thing.
Okay. So it's not like a month before.
No, well, it could be. I'm right here. Here we go. When did she do it? When did she ruin her life? 2001, it's right before.
Yeah, so while she's filming, she's got some weird mental thing going on.
This is definitely while she's filming. December 12th, 2001.
That's what I'm saying.
Ryder was arrested on shoplifting charges, accused of stealing $5,500.
Something's going on. She's just not in her right headspace. Here we are. Bad performance in Mr. Deeds.
Drugs, including oxycodone, diazepam, and Vicodin, without valid prescription. But prosecutors dropped a drug possession count after it's proved that a doctor provided it to her as medical treatment. Yeah, no, this is just a low period for her, which stinks. But
called it. And let's just talk about the climax real quick before we wrap up for the second time. We kind of called them out on this in the first recording of this episode, but... They get all the stocks so that this, the bad guy in every 90s movie and 2000s TV show can have major ownership of the company, and he decides, I'm going to sell the whole business, I'm going to sell off the parts.
Yeah.
And somehow that's going to raise stock prices? That makes legitimately no sense.
It makes no sense at all.
Makes absolutely no... I have no idea. Did Stephen Brill write this, or is it Tim Herlihy?
This is Tim Herlihy with uncredited rewrites from Adam Sandler and Stephen Brill. This is a thing, though, that I know is false because Vince McMahon almost tried to do something like this very recently where he tried to sell the company. The stock plummeted, and especially after all of his like bullshit that came out last year, too. Yeah, he quietly retires, then comes back, and then the stock goes back up, and like he sells it then.
I didn't even know he retired. That's kind of funny.
Yeah, he faked retired.
If you're selling off all the parts of your company and firing everybody from your company, guess what? Your company isn't worth anything anymore. Of course the stocks are going to go down in price. Nobody wants that.
Doesn't make any sense.
So that made no sense to me. And then here's the other thing that it doesn't make sense, but I also don't know how it would work legally. You've given stocks to Adam Sandler that he doesn't legally own.
Yep.
Because he's not the official heir to the fortune.
John Turturro is.
So you've paid Adam Sandler $40 billion for stocks he doesn't have. And now that $40 billion is to the Negro College Fund. But you, the company, still are indebted this $40 billion for stocks that you now don't own because you couldn't buy them from Sandler. What happens to this? Like, you're not going to make them buy the stocks again from John Turturro. So in theory, Adam Sandler's got to give that $40 billion back.
He does.
But Adam Sandler doesn't have $40 billion to give back because he donated it. So is the government going to seize it from the Negro College Fund?
I bet they would in a heartbeat. I just want to also say, though, that they do barely set up the fact that that there could be some, like, shenanigans later on in the movie because they're like, oh, and your uncle's private diary over there. He's like, oh yeah, I'll check that out.
Well, then the bad guy sort of says, oh, I didn't know he had a private but like that never came up. Like I thought he was going to try to steal it or find something in there to discredit Deeds.
Never remarked upon again until the end of the movie. Like the last 10 seconds.
That's the uncredited rewrite. They're like, it's weird that she brings up this diary out of nowhere. Let's just throw in a thing real quick over there.
You think they had the diary at the end without any setup at all? It's like the big thing that everything's hinged on?
I would not. With how shoddy the legal framework of the whole thing is anyway, yep. And I would just real quick like to remark that the original film... It opens up with a car driving really fast, and it's not actually driving really fast. They've sped up the frame rate.
Of course,
and then it just, like, crashes off a cliff, and then a poster spins in the frame, and it's like, this guy's dead. Who's his heir? And, like, immediately we're thrown into it. I go, all right, that was quick.
Well, I should also tell you that they had to do that speeding up of the car thing in the camera, because back then they had no cars that would go over 45 miles an hour.
That's what I got for you there. If you ask me which Deeds would I prefer, I don't know.
It's a tough one.
Coin toss.
That one, what is it, Gary Cooper, right?
It's Gary Cooper.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting. The remake wanted to change a bunch of stuff, but kept the old-timey names of Longfellow and Babe.
Well, it works out because Sandler likes the alliteration with all of his female
He's like, it's already Babe Bennett. Easy, done. It's moving on. Maybe that was why Tim Herlihy's watching Mr. Deeds Goes to Town at Home. Suddenly hears Babe Bennett. Sandler would love that. Let me write something up real quick.
That's the turn.
That's the spark. That's what made it all go round, Joe.
I love it.
All right, you have any last looks on our second viewing of Mr. Deeds?
I'm glad I liked it a little more. I'm glad it actually made me laugh this time. I'm glad that I have pushed away some negativity I've had towards this movie for a while. And I've just enjoyed it. And also, you're absolutely right. The movie is edited so horribly, and it's jarring at points. Like,
yes,
you just go from scene to scene with, like, there's no rhythm at all through this thing. You're like, just, hey, here's a scene. Hey, here's a scene. And I'm like, okay. Like, she gets, like, mugged by Alan Covert, and then all of a sudden they're just having a dinner date with chicken parmesan. And I'm like, how did they get to a date already?
Yeah, the overall pacing's a problem too, but just like within a scene, cutting between the different shots and performances is so nauseating in a way.
It is. So what are your last looks?
Yeah, again, I also, a little too hard. I won't say I enjoyed it. I did get some okay moments out of it. I could see some lingering trails of the Sandler I know and love sprinkled here into the mass-produced, big-budget thing. But I still stand by. This begins sort of Sandler's straight-manned kind of era. He's going to be a little cleaner. We're going to lose some of his characters. And I think those are the things that really help. Like, even in these newer films that I think are working, he is playing characters, and I think that is the way to go if you're doing a Sandler comedy. I don't want him to be the everyman that is very boring. And I apologize for my angry remarks in the first episode. I'm a changed man. I apologize to Casey again.
I apologize.
Thank you for being on that episode. And thanks, Lev, for remixing all of this. Thanks to our sponsor, Cocoa Rebels. Are you a totalitarian regime? You better watch out. And I'd like to thank Joe Vekeman for stopping by.
Thank you.
And I am your host, Patrick Skeyhill. You may find my features, documentaries, short films, video essays, animations, behind-the-scenes footage, and so much more at QuixoticUnited.com and social media, presumably with a similar sounding name. Thank you all for listening, Joe. Say goodnight.
Good night.
Tyler Durden, make them holler murder. Take them to the highest point of the earth, no need to follow further. The shit is universal, no time to do rehearsal. I never take a break, that shit is too commercial. I wasn't raised different, I was made different. Flow don't fuck around like it was raised Christian. Antisocial with these kids, we don't play with them. We just keep a small circle and we stay lifted. I need Monopoly bread, so if it ain't sex, then it gotta be head. I'm sure you got some candles, I prefer the sloppy instead. Do my own thing and they prefer to copy instead. The money got them in a frenzy, probably wanna envy. Glass half full, but the bottle's left empty. Baby, I'm a gentleman, but I don't do it gently. Backwoods with the Henny, back good, never trendy.
2 hours and 41 minutes is a very long time to spend with Robert Redford and Meryl Streep. People complained about Bobby Deerfield, and let me tell you, Bobby Deerfield ranks very high in my rating. It comes in such a weird place for Al Pacino because he's like in the middle of his Dog Day Afternoon Godfather like cruising stretch. And then in the middle of that is Bobby Deerfield. A quiet melodrama about a Formula One racer. And you know what? Maybe he's a little nervous to get back in the car because he saw a big accident. Maybe he doesn't know what his life is. Maybe he's got a lot of shit going on in his marriage. Maybe he doesn't. You know what? I was there for it. It's like one of the quietest Al Pacino performances I've ever seen. There's no hoo-has in this. I also would like to mention, because I started watching this yesterday, but I gotta find a better link to it. The Burt Lancaster movie, Elmer Gantry. Have you heard of this movie? Elmer Gantry, I'll just really want to go over quickly, was the movie apparently he won his Best Acting Oscar for in 1960.